So fishing started for me, basically from my dad. So obviously my dad, like he's 79, like I said, like he's old, bless him, but he's still passionate and mad about it now. If he weren't, obviously he's had a few health issues, like recently. If it weren't for them, he'd probably still be out doing it now. But yes, basically, ever since age 3, well, I was always getting dragged around the lake, you know, like if it weren't for my mum pushing me around the lake to see my dad, I was there all the time, you know. It's mad because it's funny looking back. Me and my sister say now, he had 3 children and they was all born out of the fishing season, the old fishing season, and that's a real story, you know. So it's like, I think my dad planned it. So like, yeah, so obviously I come along and then he just, like I say, I spent so much time at the lake, I think I was always gonna be an angler. So like I say, like from the age of 3 onwards, that's it, like, I remember catching my first roach. And then I think by the age between 3 and 4, I had a 1.5 pound roach. That's a big roach, even still now to this day, you know. So that's pretty much how it started. Me sitting next to my dad with a lump of stick and a willow, as like a lump of willow as a float. Yeah, that's about it really. That's where it sort of started. So yeah, it progressed. Well, it didn't really. It didn't progress because my dad wouldn't let me carp fish. So it didn't really progress. It took a long time to progress. So like my dad would be sitting there. Back then in the 80s, early 80s, it was a lot different. You know, like a 20-pound fish was a monster. And I remember him sitting there and I remember him catching a 20 with me. And I was begging him. I used to beg him to let me carp fish. No, he wouldn't let me. He said, no, you're gonna learn how I did from my granddad, like his dad. So yeah, I think I was like 9 or 10, something like that, before he actually let me have 1 rod out for carp. You know, like, and I remember like the old school, like the old boys, I remember this one on a float, one on a ledger. That was a real thing back then. So yeah, I remember him giving me that chance to put 1 out, and I remember catching that first one. It's probably about 11 pound, but God, I still remember it now, on a 1.75 pound Coniflex, you know, bent right through to the butt. Unbelievable. Still got them. Dad's still got them now. Like, he's kept them. Like he said, when he goes, bless him, they're mine again. So I'll get them back. The sort of venues I target all revolve around a certain few things. Obviously, weather, fish stock is a massive thing. You know, like they've got to have certain fish that you want to catch. But then obviously the factor comes into it. I want to fish loads of lakes. I might not necessarily get a ticket on them lakes. So I'm lucky and I'm fortunate enough to know a few people to get me on them lakes what I've got tickets on. So obviously that comes into it as well. I'm limited to time, like badly. I've got 3 boys and a daughter. My 3 boys are mad obsessed with football. So that takes up loads of my time, loads. Like me and my missus don't even see each other, you know, like we're like passing ships. That's what we're like. So like literally, if I get 1 night a week, I'm lucky. My 1 night a week, I have to put so much into my fishing before I even think about fishing. So I do a lot of sneaky things, you know, like I'm out 3 o'clock in the morning baiting up on the way to work, or stupid o'clock at night before going home, you know, lying to my missus left, right and centre, just doing dodgy things. Oh yeah, I'm working late. I ain't working late, going to the lake to bait up. Just that sort of thing. So that leads me back to obviously the lakes have to be not a million miles away until my life changes. Then obviously when my kids grow up, turn into professional football players, then I'll get more time, then I can pick and choose my lakes more. But at the minute, I'm sort of a bit governed by obviously time, kids, family. So that obviously affects my fishing quite a bit. But then you just have to make do what you got, you know. I can't moan about it. I just have to take it and just roll with it. The only really night I get is Tuesday night. So obviously the boys train Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's a no-go, family time. So I can't really take liberties. So my actual fishing week will be my overnight on a Tuesday. But then anything in between then, I'll try and get to the lake if I can, like to do me baiting up, to do me finding me spots, you know. Like I say, it all depends on the lake I'm fishing. Like at the minute, or this year I've been like fishing Bayswater, so it's been a bit tricky, you know, like the weed. It's just been quite a few things, like obstacles in your way. So like you need to do sneaky manoeuvres, if you like, to try and have a little half day off work, what the missus don't know about, you know what I mean? Like to try and put them things in your favour before you do your night, you know, like, so that's what I mean. This is where it all goes back to the time thing, you know, like if I'm a million miles away, I can't do that. So like all my whole life is revolved around basically trying to get to that lake as much as possible without taking liberties, doing all these little sneaky things in between So then that one night I do get, then I'm maximising my chances. When you've been doing it for so long, it's just in you. You know, like if you ain't doing it, you're thinking about it. I don't do it much, so I think about it probably a lot more than what I should do, maybe. I don't know, if I had 2, 3, 4 nights a week, maybe I wouldn't have the passion as much for it as I would. I think sometimes doing one night a week makes you more passionate about it. I don't know, I ain't fortunate enough to do 3, 4, 5 nights a week. But I don't know if that'd change. I think me personally, knowing I am, that I can't sit still. Even now, I'm sitting here, I can't sit still. And that's just how I am. Like, on the bank, I'm the same. You still can't beat it, and I don't care what anyone says. It's all right catching these nice scaly ones and that, but you can't beat that feeling of catching that, like a big old tank of a fish. You know, like when you get that one, or that special one, what you've been targeting for ages. And like after all the work and effort and the time you've invested and the money and the hours, just to that one fish, to get that moment with that fish, it's real, isn't it? It's real. Right, young Bradley, it's Tuesday, it's my night to go fishing. So you've taken enough of my time. Can we go now, please? Thank you very much.